Shalom, shalom. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well within this ministry, and taught us this Amath, which is the truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that preach this truth throughout the four corners of the globe, risking their lives for freedom to do so. Shalom, shalom. All right, Lord, will this be an edifying lesson? Okay. Now I'm on the Newsbreak app. All right, this Newsbreak app. It's an article. All right, that was posted 20 hours ago by DPA, which is, I'll say, it's a credible source to follow. If you do have Newsbreak app, this a nice little, platform to follow on here. But the headline reads: U.S. Vice President Vance warns Europe of threat from within. Okay. Now, I'm going to read a little bit on this and grab scripture. It said U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stunned the top-level dignitaries at the Munich Security Conference on Friday by sharply criticizing mainstream European politicians as insufficiently democratic. Okay? So he taking shots at these European politicians, these European leaders. All right, but these European leaders and politicians, they're a part of your system. You know, they're supposed to be your allies. You know, it says demanding more openness to right-wing populists and urging a crackdown on migration. So this is his bone to pick with the European politicians. It says Vance's speech was delivered as a broadside to mostly European leaders gathered at the Bayer Rischer Hof Hotel in Munich, as he eschewed a speech focused on geopolitical threats to focus on what he argued was his greater concern: European leaders themselves. Wow, so he just taking shots at these European leaders in their face. He basically criticizing them in their face, which, once again, these European leaders supposed to be, and America is supposed to be allied and on the same page. Okay, but you see, obviously there's division with the vice president, okay, criticizing them openly in their face like this, and you think that these European leaders are just going to take that, softly. No, they're not, man. Okay, this is like a slap in the face to them. That if you're supposed to be, allied together with them, and then just a couple. Well, now since it's 2025, but even last year, you had talks and articles coming out about these 25% tariffs, and Europe being a part of, to receive those 25% tariffs. All right. You had Trump coming down, speaking about putting 25% tariffs on, Canada, China, and I believe Europe was also a part of that as well, man. But these are supposed to be your allies, but you're putting tariffs on them. Okay, and now that it's 2025, these tariffs are about to be into effect. So once again, do you think Europe is going to take these things lightly and just back into a corner and submit? No. All right. First and foremost, that's not prophecy. And you have the BRICS nations, man, that will support them with open arms, man. Okay. It says, continuing on, it says the threat I worry most about vis-a-vis Europe is the threat from within. It says, see, that's the spirit, because Trump called the American people the threat from within, right? And now he's posing war, and that lets you know that that's a distinct declaration of war. If you're deeming somebody as a threat, okay, then that lets you know that you're about to declare war upon them, man. So if the American people if Trump called the American people the threat within, that means he's going to initialize war in order to conquer them, to conquer the threat from within. So with the vice president calling Europe the threat from within, the same thing is going to be imposed, man. All right, letting you know that the Lord is about to stir up these other nations, man. Okay, the Lord is about to stir up these other nations to get ready to go against this whore, America. And this is the beginning of it, man. We're watching it. These different articles is letting us know this is the beginning of it, man. All right, now this is something that could either get dwindled out, or this is something that can become bigger to the point where prophecy is being more, where prophecy is being involved more. But still, at the end of the day, it's prophecy, man. Okay, because it's showing you the division within this place. Salakia for my rambling, but it says, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values it shares with the United States of America, Vance said. Okay. It says, the U.S. Vice President accused European allies of stamping down on free speech and attacked mainstream European politicians for focusing on Russian misinformation, while trying to freeze out populist right-wing political parties and ignore the backlash against large-scale immigration. Vance contended that there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. He also provided a series of anecdotes from Germany to Sweden to the United Kingdom, which he contended showed how basic liberties were being eroded in Britain and across Europe. Free speech, I fear, is in retreat. So basically, the vice president is saying free speech and basic liberties of the people are being done away with in these European countries. All right. He's worried about, he's saying mass migration is a big problem. And basically they're blaming it, all on Europe now. Okay. Europe, it seems like the new fall guy. So with that being said, they're not going to take this pretty lightly. And this is Esau all day. That's all he does. All right. He always points out and blames somebody else for these mishaps that he creates. He always needs a fall guy, man. Right. And then it's going into Gaza Strip and Ukraine. So that's pretty much, well, actually, let me read this little bit. I'm going to read this little bit at the end of the article. See what it's talking about. It says, higher defense spending by European allies has been a key demand by Trump. Oh, so they're saying European countries are spending. Let me keep reading slack. It says EU member countries are obliged to keep their deficit below 3% and their debt ratio below 60% of gross domestic product. But von der Leyen said a relaxation of the rules will allow member states to substantially increase their defense expenditure. I will also propose a wider package of tailor-made tools to address the specific situation of each and every one of our member states, from their current levels of defense spending to their fiscal situation, von der Leyen said. So that's pretty much it, man. Okay, they're basically, in this article, it basically explains the problems that Trump and the vice president, or America, is having with these European countries, these EU members. All right, so with all of these problems being stated, and you got the vice president, openly criticizing them in their faces, these European leaders in their faces, man. They're not going to take this pretty lightly, man. Okay, so that's going to result to these European nations leaving the horror and joining up with these BRICS nations. Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right, and this great whore, speaking about America, all right, and she is sitting upon these many waters, these many nations, sitting upon it, meaning she's ruling over these different many nations. Okay, it says verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Right, these different heathen leaders, okay, that have made a pact with Esau, made business deals with Esau, made trade deals with Esau, and then end up taking his philosophy and end up, being indoctrinated by his westernization. And that's how they've committed fornication. All right. And that's how Esau caused these other nations to commit fornication. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And just like the scriptures say in Sirach, so as the king is, so are the people, roughly paraphrasing. So you got all of these different, political leaders and these different heathen leaders in business with this devil, but they're being indoctrinated at the same time. Okay, and then their people, their inhabitants of those, they're being indoctrinated by this westernization. So now the inhabitants of the earth is just all bugged out off of this westernization and off this Babylon juice, man, and this doctrine that America pushes. Which this is why the world is out of order, man. Okay, and this is why Yahushua got to come back. It say, verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and that once again, that woman, speaking about America is spearheading, okay, all of this shit, man. America spearheads NATO. America spearheads the EU as well. The EU is joined with NATO. So this woman, America, is ruling over all these different nations. It says the 7 horns, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And those 7 heads will be the empires, the kingdoms that came before America, right? These 7 heads will be the empires and the kingdoms that came, which caused America to come about, which birthed America, right? And those 7 horns being the Greeks, the Romans, Germania Major, Germania Minor, the French, Spanish, and Britain. All right, and through those kingdoms, America was born. And then you got the 10 horns, which will be those vassal states. All right, which now is more than 10 horns. Those EU nations, okay, is about, I believe, like 20, maybe 30, maybe 20 or 30 something. Let me check so I could be on point. 27. It's 27 members now. All right. But it started off with 10, right? It says, and that will be those EU nations. So verse 4, it says, and a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right, this place, America, was built and made glorious from the blood and shed of the Israelites, man. Okay, for the wickedness that was done unto the Israelites, was this place made great. And then these other nations, they hopped on the bandwagon, man, and were made rich. All right. And this became a doctrine, and this became Esau spreaded his doctrine and his influence over not only all the nations he conquered, but even the Israelites. And that's when America was great. That's when that woman was decked out with scarlet color and with gold and precious stones. That's when this place had, all the good jobs for you. People really thought this place was paved with gold. The streets was paved with gold. That's how America was, deemed as, man. You come over America, you can do whatever you want. Keep whatever laws you want, worship whatever God you want, wear whatever you want, dress promiscuously. You can say whatever you want. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, so to speak. But America was great when Israel was totally beaten down, man. And trodden over. And the other nations were in on it. Okay, so what Esau trying to do now? He's trying to make America great. All right. Esau trying to make America great, but now he can't do it with these other nations coming against him like this, man. It says, verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Let me grab the point. Yup, here we go right here. It says, verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, right? Because once again, America was built off the bloodshed of the Israelites, all 12 tribes, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, all right? And once again, America continues to shed the blood of Israel unrighteously, man. It says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. All right, starting with the believers, And it's going to happen again during the time of Jacob's trouble, when Esau come down with great wrath. Some brothers are going to be, beheaded for this truth, for this testimony. Hence the blood of the martyrs of the saints. It's going to be here in America, man. All right. This place is drunken with it. He says, I wondered with great admiration, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, which is America. And Salakia, verse 5, this place is Babylon, man. All right. And this place is the mother of all harlots, because this kingdom is the most wickedest kingdom of all kingdoms to come about. And that's why it's going to receive the greatest judgment. All right. It says, and abominations of the earth. This kingdom upholds abomination and sets it on high more than any other kingdom that was created. All right. This place is spiritual Babylon. But it says, and that's just the surface breakdown, but it says, back to Revelation chapter 17, verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. See, and that's the point. These nations is carrying America, man. So once they start turning against your ass, it's through. It's through for America. It's over with. Here it is that everything that's imported in this place comes from these other nations. So once they stop dealing with America, and here it is, Trump, he's doing self-inflicting wounds on America and the American people by putting 25% tariffs on Europe and China and Canada and these other nations, man. Because that's where a good if not all, a good portion, 95% of imports in America come from. So this place is carrying America, man. All right. And once the Lord put the spirit on these nations to turn against her, It's over with for this devil. It says, verse 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. Well, yeah, it's going to get it right, and then it's going to go into the breakdown. But the point being is that these nations, those 10 horns, are going to turn against the woman. And if those 10 horns turn against the woman, then there's nobody carrying her anymore. All right? And then it's going to give, this is basically it giving the breakdown. Let me go to the next verse, no, the next chapter. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just read this. Salakia. All right, here we go. Revelation 17 and 16. I'll start at 15. Revelation 17 and 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? Because that's who Esau is ruling over, man. Different peoples, multitudes, and nations. Okay. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And how's that gonna happen? By way of the missiles. Okay. So guess what? These 10 horns, which these EU nations that JD Vance is talking shit about in their faces, they're gonna eventually turn against this place, man. And they're gonna hate this place. They're gonna put shame upon this, spew shame upon this place, and expose this place. And to the point of all out war and desolation when missiles is involved, man. Okay. Now let's go to Revelation 18. It says, I'll start at 3. Revelation 18 and 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through her abundance of her delicacies. Right? Because these EU nations, right, these different kings and leaders, they were once happy being in bed with America because they were they were waxing rich. But now there's a different dynamic going on now, man. Okay. Now these nations, they're no longer, these nations are no longer at peace with this devil, man, because America is doing all type of unrighteousness when it comes to these different pacts and agreements and business deals, man. It says, verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. Right? And meaning what? That you don't receive this destruction, you don't receive this judgment. Come out of her spiritually. First and foremost, that's what we're doing. By coming into this truth and depart. And as it says in Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart. That's talking about spiritually. But this right here, this is talking about when we physically get beamed up out this place while the missiles is hitting. Simultaneously, the elect will be delivered out of the destruction that these other nations gonna shoot missiles on America. All right, that everybody else gonna be getting burnt up and destroyed with this place because they trusted in this place. Verse 5, it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. See, all this shit America done did, but here it is, you, JD Vance, you point out what these Europeans is the threat within and what they not doing. You know, and you talking shit in their face, coming to their hotel, you coming to their place where of conference and talking shit about them to their face, man. About here it is, America got all these different iniquities and all this other shit built up, man. So guess what? Once it reaches a certain amount of level, that's when the Lord's going to intervene. Once the C-hip is made mandatory, Yahweh Shah gonna come back, man, and intervene. Okay, once you got men of the Lord being beheaded, the Lord's gonna come back and intervene, man. Okay. Verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double into her, double according to her works. And the cup which she have filled to her double. And the Lord's going to do that first and foremost by sending these other nations to destroy to destroy her out of her lofty place, and then destroy the land that it may not be inhabited ever again. All right. So the Lord is going to use these nations to do that. And then that's when Yahweh Shah is going to clean up and do the, clean up, man, and do the rest and finish everything off to get the glory. Verse 7, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow. I shall see no sorrow. All right, so that's the pride of this devil. That's the pride of this place. They believe that can no nation touch them and bring them down. Okay, you go in this word queen. I'm going to close out after I go into this word queen. Go into this word queen, it means bacilla.
Strong's G 938. Basilisa.
Basilisa. Basilisa. G 938. You can go into Strong's definition. It says a queen, feminine, a queen. You go into root word etymology.
Strong's G 936. Basiluo.
Basiluo. To be king, exercise kingly power to reign. So that's what this devil desires to do. To exercise his kingly power and to reign. Of the governor of a province to rule of the Messiah. And that's what he really wants to accomplish. He wants to accomplish a messianic rule, man. He wants to be the Messiah, all right, and rule forever like the Messiah. But that's not going to happen, all right? It says, of the reign of Christians in the millennium, metaphorically, to exercise the highest influence to control. And that's the end all be all, bro. That's what Esau wants to do, to exercise the highest influence to control. And that's why he's building his Project 2025, UN Pact for the Future, Project Warp Speed, NWO agenda, man. It's to exercise the highest influence to control, man. All right? To be like the Most High. And that's what he's going to try to do with this chip. That's what he said in his heart. So the other nations coming up against him to destroy him, that's not going to happen. That don't fit in his NWO plan. But that's prophecy. That's what's going to happen, man. All right? Yeah, man. I'm going to just close out for time's sake. Lord willing, it's been edifying. All right, that's just a quick update. Nothing too major. It's Vice President, man. Furthermore, causing division with these, European allies. All right. So with that being said, Shalom, Shalom. May Yahweh Bashim Yahushua bless all Akim, Wazaquanium, and your families and houses. Shalom, Shalom. Call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. On to the next one.